The following program is sponsored by Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County.
Welcome to our 47th season of Mosaic. I'm your host, Susan Shulman Pertnoy. Mosaic is Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County's weekly news magazine, exploring the most critical issues facing Jews here and around the world. Today on Mosaic, we're stepping into the intersection of arts and advocacy. Our guest today is actor and podcaster Jonah Platt. From the stage to the digital airwaves, he is using his platform to explore Jewish identity and navigate the complexities of the modern world. We'll talk about his career and his unique voice in the Jewish community. That's next on Mosaic.
The Activate Jewish Life movement is a first of its kind. Intends to connect with families with children, to connect with teens, to connect with young adults. However people want to engage with Jewish life, we want to make sure that we are providing them with an opportunity to engage in ways that have relevance and meaning for them. What an opportunity we have to change the face of Jewish life.
We're so proud to celebrate our community visionaries, donors who contribute $1 million or more, serving as an inspiration for all of Jewish Palm Beach. Welcome back. Joining us today is actor, singer, writer, advocate, and podcast host, Jonah Platt. Jonah, welcome to Mosaic.
Thank you. It's great to be here in person.
Yes, it is nice to have you in person. Before we start and talk about what you're doing, tell us about your background. I know entertainment plays a large role.
Oh, yes. I mean, my whole life has been the performing arts and entertainment. My parents met in college, and one of the things that brought them together was their shared love of the performing arts. So when they raised their 5 kids, they infused in all of us a love of the performing arts. So from as long as I can remember, I was putting on shows and singing show tunes with my siblings and cousins in the backyard. and in school, always, if I could make a project putting on a show instead of like writing a report, I would do that. So coming out of college, I knew I was going to go right into the entertainment industry and was always doing all different performing arts things all the way through. I didn't know quite what I was going to do in the entertainment industry, and I never quite figured it out. As you mentioned, you listed off a couple of different things because I could never really make up my mind. So I have done a lot of different stuff. I went straight into TV writing, worked on a number of different shows, and then the acting started to pick up and dabbled in other things, directing and vocal arranging and stuff here and there.
Wow.
And that's been most of my life until the last couple of years.
So what was your career breakthrough?
I would say there were a couple because on the writing side, I would say my biggest breakthrough was getting to become an actual staff writer, to elevate from being a writer's assistant, where I was kind of mired on a couple of different shows. It's kind of hard to get to that next level. It really depends on the show you're on. And then in terms of acting, doing Wicked on Broadway was definitely my biggest breakthrough moment.
That had to be
sure.
huge.
Oh, that was huge. I mean, once you become a Broadway level performer, you just, that's a level up that you never go back down from. Even if, like me, you never are on Broadway again, you always have that sort of check mark.
So you've never been on Broadway again?
That was it.
That was one and done. You were on top.
Hey, I tried. Hard to get back there. And To be fair, I could have probably gotten back there if I was more willing to say yes to every kind of role. But my life was really in LA. I mean, I moved to New York, did the show in New York for a year, and then came back to LA, where I was engaged to my wife in that 1 year in New York, and then we moved and started to like plant roots in LA. So I was really only looking for
Because
sort of...
that's where you're from.
That's where I'm from.
Right.
That's where my family is, my sisters, all my nephews, my parents, my friends, and we just love the lifestyle there. But I was taking really only kind of moonshots to get back to New York. Like, it had to be a real game changer, and not like many of my friends, like grinding in New York, like give me any role, I'll take it. So to be fair, I wasn't taking 100 bites at the apple.
Right. So at what point did you pivot to become such an advocate in the Jewish community?
I started doing Jewish advocacy in spring of 2021 when there was violence between Israel and Gaza. And that was when I first sort of realized that I could help people online. I had a small platform because of my acting career mostly, and wanted to help articulate what I knew so many of my friends and family members were feeling and help cut through some of the noise. Because even at that time...
Where did you learn about the issues that you could articulate it so clearly?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it through life experience, right? I mean, I've just been an engaged Jew my whole life. And, by the time you get to 2021 is, 35 years of being in day school, in summer camp, and federation programs, in a very engaged Jewish family that's very Jewishly literate and engaged. And I'm just a voracious consumer of stuff. So, I mean, I did all the deep dives and read the books and, watched the documentaries, and just I'm constantly consuming and learning and growing. And that's only accelerated in the last couple of years. But it shifted October 7th, really, is when I began my pivot from, 90% entertainment, 10% advocacy to 90% advocacy, 10% entertainment, which is where I am now.
After October 7th, were you surprised by the reaction of your Hollywood peers?
I was surprised by the reaction of everybody on planet Earth, certainly Hollywood included. I think anybody who says they weren't surprised at the degree to which the response was so negative so quickly would be lying. It was very surprising. I think the part that surprised me most was, in terms of Hollywood, is how toxic any of it became for a lot of people, where they couldn't even put their name on a free the hostage note, right? Like, that wouldn't even say Israel, wouldn't say Gaza, wouldn't say Jewish even. Just like, there are 230 something people who are kidnapped, they should be released. And people were like, I don't know, it's dicey.
Isn't that, I mean,
that's
it's
mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I don't know how you get there morally in your mind, where whatever consideration you have that is more important than putting your name on that, I can't get there in my mind. So your priorities are wrong if that's where you are.
So what did you do about it?
I mean, what I've been doing for the last now 2 years is trying to use my platform and my network and my knowledge to educate others, to participate as I could, within Hollywood. I don't know how helpful these, letters and petitions that we put our names on are. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they're more just sort of like a statement and an act of solidarity for people who are like, why aren't anyone saying something? And when they see people they care about saying something, that does mean something. Right. I don't know how much that moves the needle here or there. Sometimes it really does move the needle when, like a Toronto Film Festival hears enough of a clapback from the community. They go, oh, we got this wrong.
Right.
So that does make a difference.
Yes.
But really, it's been through my podcast and my speaking engagements and what I'm putting out on social media that I try to explain things. And, in terms of Hollywood, for example, there's a group called Artists for Ceasefire who had put out a letter. This was now probably a year and a half ago, but I used the opportunity of their letter, and they're clearly an anti-Zionist group, but the letter seems very innocuous if you don't know how to decipher it and sort of read what's implicit in it. And so I would take to social media to explain very calmly, but like, here's what you're probably not seeing in it. And like, that's my way of sort of speaking back to that community in that way.
How difficult have you found it to break the false narratives that we're being bombarded with?
I mean, as hard as anyone finds it, right? It's tough. There's who I try to reach are the people who are reachable. So I don't know if I'm going to break the false narrative for somebody who is, 6 quarts of Kool-Aid into this thing.
Right.
But the people who are trying to get it right in life and, they're seeing things and they go, well, that doesn't really jive with what I know about Jews and the people in my life. And like, I know that Hamas is terrorists. Like, that looks really bad. So why are people saying this? Like, those are the people I'm trying to reach, where I go, here's why you're confused, because this is propaganda, and this is mass manipulation, and this is a libel, and here's how it got created, and, really sort of break down the machinery for folks so that those people can then go, oh, okay, I get it. I knew I was right. That makes a lot more sense.
So at what point did you decide that a podcast would be the vehicle to get your message across? And your podcast is called Being Jewish.
Yes.
For those who don't know.
Yes. It was about, 3 or 4 months after October 7th. Those first couple months were very much reactive response, putting out fires mode, which, I was online for hours doing explainer videos and Q&As and meeting with hostage families and gathering with WhatsApp groups and just, it was all about like, we have a million fires that we need to put out in this moment. And a couple months after that, I was like, all right, I want to get back to my proactive advocacy. Like, what do I want my lane to be in this space? And a podcast felt like the best vehicle for that. I was able to expand on what I was already doing online in a much more sort of formal, targeted way, not just sort of off the cuff, whatever I felt like making a video that day. That took me a really long time. Now I could script it and shoot it once a week. And I really wanted to normalize Jews having Jewish conversations, not rabbis, not Jewish professionals, not only Talmudic conversations or nerdy conversations or religious conversations, but just what American Jews are talking about with each other. So I wanted to do that. Wanted to, as I mentioned, expand on some of the things I was thinking about and be able to break them down really clearly. And I wanted to demonstrate how beautiful and inclusive the Jewish community should be and is. That's always been like a really core part of my advocacy, is widening our tent as wide as possible, really. And the show is a great way to do that. So from the very beginning, if you watch the show, you'll see I have people from different ethnicities, Jews and non-Jews, different levels of observance, different professions, different genders, different geographical locations. I'm constantly looking for as much diversity as possible to demonstrate how diverse we are and how being Jewish, which is the name of the show, it's like it looks different for everybody. And that's sort of the theme and the core of the show is look how different it can be for each person, but it all counts and we're all connected.
Absolutely, no matter which way you want to consider yourself Jewish.
Yes.
So what has the feedback been?
Oh, the feedback's been amazing. The feedback really has been extraordinary. I mean, the best feedback I get are the people who reach out and say, I've made XYZ changes in my life because of the impact of your show.
That's powerful.
So powerful. One that comes to mind is, I had my son on the show once. I do a little segment called Lador Vidorable.
How old is he?
He was 6, now he's 7. So it's a short segment that I've done it 3 times where I'll have young Jewish kids and we talk about being Jewish. And somebody moved their kid into Jewish day school after hearing me talk with my son and go, I want my kid to sound like that when I speak to them. I had somebody who volunteered for Magen David Adom in Israel after listening to my show and felt like they wanted to take more of a part in what was going on. I've had people, try more religious observance things. I've had people say that they're having different conversations with like different generations of their family because of the show, all kinds of stuff.
How do you deal with the statistics that say young Jewish families are on the rise, but one member of the young Jewish family is not Jewish, and that is really what the new Jewish family looks like. One
talking about like interfaith,
yeah, interfaith. Do you address that on your show?
I don't know that It's not a topic-based show necessarily. It's guest focused, so it depends on who the guest is, what we're going to talk about. But I try to cover a lot of different things. But for example, my wife converted to Judaism, and she was on my show. It's a great episode. So we cover a lot of sort of that kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
we want to talk about that.
Yeah, and I've had some folks on before who are in interfaith relationships. Marlee Matlin, the actress, we talked about her interfaith marriage when she was on. Cindy Crawford, interfaith marriage. So it comes up for sure. I think it's really important when we're talking about interfaith that it's about keeping this wide tent. We don't want to lose anybody who wants to be here.
Exactly.
So it's very important. Look, I hope that we will, in general, like Jews will want to keep it in the family, and if that means bringing someone in and having them convert, but there are so many people who bring someone in and they raise the kids Jewish, and like that's really what's important. Are you going to have a Jewish home? Is a lot more important.
And you have to make it joyful, so they want to have the Jewish
home.
Right,
exactly. And you have to make them feel included, and you want to give them the resources, and you want them to know that this is a welcoming group of people, and it's not a dogmatic. If either you check these boxes or you can't come in here.
Exactly.
That doesn't help us.
Yes. We have to take a quick break.
Sure.
We'll be right back after this brief message. Still ahead, more with actor Jonah Platt on the state of entertainment and his Jewish pride. Stay tuned. Did you know that you can now enjoy Mosaic on the go? Listen to the Mosaic podcast by scanning the QR code on the screen or find it wherever you listen to podcasts. We're back chatting with Jonah Platt, the actor, writer, singer, and podcaster. And we're talking about marriage and advocacy for the Jewish community. You were mentioning that your wife converted to Judaism.
She did.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. It was something I brought up on our first date, actually. Long story short, you'll have to watch the whole pod episode to get the full story. But we were serious right away. So I said on our first date, I'm serious about you. I know you're serious about me. If this goes all the way, would you be open to talking about converting? Because if you say, I'm never going to talk about it, I'm not open at all, we should cut it off right now. And she said, I really appreciate you bringing this up now. I am open to it, but I have to see that it's actually important to you and that this isn't your parents or grandparents saying, you better marry a Jewish girl. So she saw right away. I mean, we never had the conversation again because she dated me for 5 seconds and saw that being
Your
Jewish
passion.
is so intrinsic to who I am and to my family. And we're celebrating Shabbat every week, and my parents and siblings are so involved in the community, and just it was a no-brainer. And so she went through the process and has since become like the most amazing gift to the Jewish people. She's on our temple board. She's taking Hebrew class. She's teaching dance at the kids' Jewish day school. She's just like totally in the thick of everything, and is an amazing Jewish mother, and it's beautiful to see.
So has her conversion changed the way you raise your kids or not?
Not really, no. I mean, she just jumped right into everything. I mean, the only thing that it's changed is we celebrate Christmas every year with her family. That was sort of the deal. She was like, I will convert, but we go to my family every year for Christmas. So my kids totally lucked out. So they're like 100% Jewish, go to Jewish day school, and they get Christmas. It's a great trade-off. And then my house, like we decorate my house for the winter season, and it's been about sort of navigating how much of that feels comfortable to me and how much feels comfortable to her. And she's like totally nailed it. Winter Wonderland, Hanukkah themed, but feels very festive, and it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun for the kids.
It's fun for the kids, great.
Your mom is a legendary Jewish leader, nationally and actually recognized internationally.
Yeah.
And you have actually taken on leadership positions as well. Why is it so important for people to get involved with federations?
The federation is specifically, I mean, look, let me step back and say it's important to get involved in anything, especially in this moment. Like, I don't care if it's Federation, I don't care if it's, the latke shop on your corner, like that, if that were a thing. But like, everything matters right now. Federation specifically, look, they were created 100-something years ago to be the stewards for the Jewish community. We have so many causes and so much that needs support. And the Federation says, we'll help allocate it, put the dollars here and we'll get them where they need to go. And the Federation supports Jewish life in a million different ways all over the world. If you don't have a specific passion, like, oh, I want to support kids in Ukraine and I have a specific charity to do, great. But if you want, well, I want to help the people in Ukraine and I want to help my local community and I want to help Holocaust survivors living below the poverty line, you go to Federation and they're taking care of all of those things. So it's the best catch-all and the people who really serve and protect our community now and into the future.
What a great spokesman you are.
That's the truth.
It is the truth. I adhere to your your logic and your reasoning.
Yes, I see you're lying, so
yes,
you know as well as I do.
I absolutely do. You speak about an unapologetically proud Jewish world.
Yes.
You want to talk about that?
Yes, that to me, not only is it what we deserve and what feels good and what is most authentic, it just so happens to be, I think, the best antidote to anti-Jew bigotry is a loud, proud Jewish community. I think, if you think about a playground bully, like the bully picks on the person who's insecure, who's hiding, who's trying not to get noticed. The bully doesn't pick on the person who's confident and says, dude, I'm not going anywhere. And as a Jewish community, we have had a hard time flipping that shtetl mindset of we're going to have to pack our bags soon, don't get noticed, we're strangers living in another person's land. We have to flip that switch to we're here, we're proud, this is who we are, we're not going anywhere, deal with it. And the sooner we do that, the better it's going to feel for us. And I also think it's going to have a ripple effect on how others see and treat us.
Absolutely. But how do you impart that into young Jews of today? And not everybody goes to Jewish day school and has the opportunity, or maybe they do, but they don't realize the opportunity to get involved with organized either religions or philanthropic.
It really starts with the parents. If we're talking about how do you instill Jewish identity in your kids and model for kids how they should live in the world, it has to start with intentionality from the parents. That's where I think we've missed a lot of opportunity, is parents living Jewishly without intention. Sort of, well, my parents gave me stuff and that's important to me, but I'm going to sort of let my kids figure it out, right? And then they don't transfer the stuff that was important. They don't make the implicit explicit. And sometimes the kids don't get the messaging and they don't see the parent making it important in their own life. So then why would the kid think it's important in their lives? So it's critical for parents to think about this stuff. That's all it takes. I don't care which direction you go. I don't care what things you add to your life, but you at least have to think about it and go, what kind of Jewish model do I want to be for my kids? What Jewish life do I want them to have? And am I putting in the time and energy in my time and energy budget that shows that this is a priority and models this for them? Otherwise, I'm letting the world be their educator, and maybe they'll find it, maybe they won't. But if I want to make sure they get a certain thing, I have to be intentional and make sure they get it.
Absolutely. But a lot of young people don't have parents that are educated enough to even want that. So getting back to federations, they have all sorts of opportunities and Shabbats and through one table. There are so many different vehicles in which a young person or a young family can get involved.
Oh, sure.
And learn. And it's in a non-threatening way. A Shabbat dinner is just a perfect example.
Totally. Again, it comes down to intention, right? You have to want to be involved. But if should you desire to be, there is no shortage of opportunity, whether that's in an institutional space like a synagogue or a day school or a camp, or outside of them, where Federation, as you say, supports so many different programs. For example, in LA, we have something called New Roots, which is an amazing program supported by Federation that tries to really meet people where they are, very diverse, sort of open Jewish opportunities outside of these institutional spaces for people looking to connect in ways that feel more organic to them and draw them into the community that way.
So what's next for Jonah Platt?
More of the same at the moment. Still going around speaking to different communities, still producing the show, new episodes every week, at least until July, and then we take a little summer break. And starting to think about ways to expand beyond just the show and what I'm trying to offer the Jewish community, whether that's more media, some different programming. I have a Jewish travel company that we just piloted our first trip that now we're about to scale up. So
tell us
it's
about
called
that.
Being Jewish Travel. We just sent our first group to Morocco on basically the Jewish Morocco trip of my dreams, but I wasn't able to go on the trip with the group, unfortunately. And it's going to just be amazing opportunities for people who, A, want to just have these Jewish travel experiences, or B, want to be in community with other Jews, or people who are Jew curious on these travel experiences. So,
that's a cute phrase.
Yeah, so that's scaling up, and a couple of other things in the works too, but just really trying to think about where else I can help make an impact.
You certainly are working it. I'm so impressed.
Oh, thank
I wish
you.
that there were so many we could clone you.
I wish I could clone me. I'd sleep a lot more.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jonah, tell us, do you have a favorite Federation moment or an impactful moment for you?
Well, I'm currently part of National Young Leadership Cabinet, which is a great program of the Federation nationally, obviously, with hundreds of people. When you begin, you have to be in your 30s. You can finish by the time you're in your 40s. It's a 5-year program. And sort of the keystone of this experience is an international mission every year. So last year, I was with, 150 other of my peers from federations all over the country, and we went to Azerbaijan, which was really cool. And I'm now 2 weeks away from my second mission. I'm a second year going to Greece.
Oh.
So we'll be in Salonika and Athens. And if you don't know about the history of the Jews in Greece, Salonika used to be a very thriving Jewish community. I mean, thousands. They all got sent to Auschwitz. The Nazis wiped out the entire city. And today, the majority of the Jews that are left are in Athens. So we're going to basically see this historic Jewish community and then the contemporary Jewish community.
Oh, it's an incredible program, the National Cabinet.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's great if you want to, be in community with your own peers, other people who are as passionate about being involved Jewishly as you are. Everybody does something different. The majority are not, Jewish professionals. They're just people who care and want to be involved. And it's really inspiring to me to be in a group like that, because I do this every day, but to see other people like, I'm leaving my kids for 9 days to go be invested in this thing is very cool.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we appreciate everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
This program is sponsored by Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County.